Have you guys heard of Candyman? Okay, ready? Candyman. Candyman. Candyman.
Don't say that.
One more. Candyman. Well, we're still alive, so.
My victim.
This is not real. It's not real.
What the hell was this? This movie was absolutely ridiculous. I did not like it. I did not like how they just discredited the original movie with this nonsense and discussing like police stuff and just like it was just like what the fuck. Oh my god, I'd rather just discuss this shit in person because I'm black. Candyman, 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 Candyman. Just man. Welcome to the Quigley Lawrence Experience. Today we're gonna discuss Candyman real quick. I went to Vegas last night for this comedy show. You know, it was fantastic, and it made me really like kind of re-put what I was gonna say about this movie, and its relation to the first movie of Candyman. Because remember, this is supposed to be a direct sequel. But comedy is a really interesting thing nowadays. You know, for 2020, 2021. You know, because a lot of things you make fun of, you get canceled for nowadays. So I just find it interesting that, you know, Jordan Peele directed or helped with this Candyman movie. I think someone else directed it, but he like screenwrote it, right? He was a screenwriter. And he was a comedian. He like made fun of shit. He made fun of blacks and Mexicans and whites, and he made fun of everybody. So he kind of, he started his career on comedy. And if he had an agenda in mind, if he had some end goal of whatever, trying to like preach about things that have happened in the past, that's fine. But the fact that he tried to put all of this into Candyman, which is like a horror movie, or as they would say, an American Gothic supernatural film, that's what they considered it. Like, it makes absolutely no sense, man. I mean, come on, dude. Like, comedy is comedy. Last night people were like really making it was in Vegas, so people were just making jokes and shit, and people were having fun. It wasn't like here in California where everyone's got like a stick up their ass and shit, but still, like, it was genuinely great to hear people like actually make jokes and be funny. Now, Candyman was not a funny movie, right? Candyman wasn't like, there was no humor in the original movie. And when I heard that Jordan Peele was remaking it or helping with the reboot of it and the direct sequel of it, I was like, oh shit, like, interesting. I liked Us and the Get Out. All right, like, let's see what he can do. But then of course 2020 happened and all the race shit went down, so it's like, all right, all these movies are now kind of taking a weird SJW turn and starting to get preachy and everything. So it's like, all right, well, it I mean, Candyman can't be that bad, like how could they make it worse? I mean, it's already about a black slave who fell in love with a white woman and then got killed and became a ghost, right? Like, that's already the story. The only way you can make it hit home is, I guess, if you made part of the movie take place when that actually happened, and of course that didn't happen. I mean, if you've seen Candyman, that didn't happen. If you haven't seen Candyman yet, you probably don't care, but that shit didn't happen. It was all like weird ass paper cutouts of like whatever happened back then, and with all like the cops and shit. But like, it was just, and like kids playing with like little light, it was just fucking weird, okay? But it wasn't anything like I had assumed it would be. So let's get into the film real quick. So Candyman is the new Candyman is a direct sequel to the 1992 Candyman, with Tony Todd being the Candyman character, who, yes, was a slave who fell in love with a white woman and was killed, and his spirit kind of like pretty much was the hatred of like, you know, his, it was kind of ominous, you know. It was like his character's spirit was like, you know, the hatred and revenge, and he was just killing people who said his name and stuff. And like, you know, they touch up on it on the movie really briefly, and it's really cool because it's like, all right, you know, obviously this is like kind of like an old school blaxploitation film, you know, the original Candyman, but it was done subtly enough to, you know, incorporate what was really going on in that society, and like living in the you know, ghetto and stuff, and all the people like, oh, you know, we know about Candyman, but we don't really talk about it because, you know, niggas out here pretending to be Candyman and killing people and just keeping the spirit of Candyman alive, right? So the original one was a great movie. I really did enjoy it. But now fast forward to the 2021 one that just came out with Ayal Abdul Mateen, got the second guy, like, you know, future Morpheus, young Morpheus. It's weird because it doesn't only talk about like the original Candyman. They lump in all these other like deaths that black people have seen over the years, of just, you know, other murders, you know, that cops have done, or that white people in the back in the day had done after slavery had been abolished and shit. And they bring all that up, and that's what like makes Candyman's spirit, you know, even stronger, quote unquote, today, because more shit has happened. But he's just not as discussed, so he wasn't as powerful until he fucking was discussed, and then he became powerful. But so I'm not really gonna get too much into discussing this whole movie because it's not worth discussing, but for the most part, I'm just gonna say straight out that if you haven't seen the movie, what I'm going to say is gonna sound rude, but if you have seen the movie, this will make sense. But the main character, Ayaz's character, who becomes Candyman, right? He turns out to be the baby from the original Candyman that Candyman takes, and the main chick has to go like save because everyone thinks she's hallucinating, but she actually sees Candyman, and, you know, is trying to stop him. But everyone thinks she's crazy. But, you know, the people of the town, Sari Green or whatever, they know that Candyman is real. They know that she ain't crazy, right? So at the end of the original movie, she dies trying to save the baby. The Candyman puts the baby in this like pillar of fire thing, and the baby's on fire because they're all like, they see her with like the hook and shit, because she finds this like hook. It's leading her, like, you have to see the original. She's getting led to the pillar of fire and stuff. So she's saving the baby, and she comes out with the baby, right? And she's like, oh my god, like, she's on fire because she had to get out. Candyman's in there fighting her and shit. And fucking when she gets out, her hair gets caught on fire, and she's like freaking out, and they put it out, and her hair looks, her skin's all fucked up, and she gives the lady the baby, and then she dies. It's super depressing, you know. And her at her funeral, they like put her down and stuff in her casket and everything, and all the people come and they take Candyman's hook, because they find Candyman's hook. They find out that he actually died in the fire. You know, they're like, oh my god, you know, and they throw his hook in her grave, which is so fucked up, because it's like, no, you know, like, that was the whole point, was he wanted like their spirits to merge or whatever, so he can love her, or whatever their weird love thing was. But she died apart from him, and the fact that they threw the hook in there, it just merged their spirits together. So at the end of the movie, she becomes like, quote unquote, like the new Candyman, right? The guy's like, Helen, and she comes and fucking kills him, her piss ass ex-husband. But the baby that she saves is the main character in the new Candyman, in the reboot. So Ayala Abdul Mateen's character is the baby from the original Candyman. So in the movie, his character, his girlfriend, her brother, I know this is a weird little loop I'm doing, but his girlfriend's brother is gay, right? And he's with this white dude. And he tells them the story of Candyman because reasons and for the plot. And in doing so, they do the little cutouts and shit of like him, like of what happened in the first movie, not like the actual lore of Candyman, but he tells you what like happened. Oh, you know what happened to, you know, Helen when she was like the only person in town that had this crazy happening due to Candyman. And the way he depicts her is like this crazy ass woman that came out holding the baby, and everyone saw her, and she was gonna like kill the baby, and then like changed her mind and like save the baby. And it's like, really? You're just gonna like bass backwards tell the story? Like, I understand that, you know, the story changes as everyone hears it, and they all have their own lore of how they think Candyman came around, and that's what keeps his spirit alive, is, you know, everyone remembering him, and you know, that's how spirits grow and shit in movies. But the fact that he tells them for no reason, just to make the movie happen, literally is the reason that he dives into Candyman, is the reason that everything happens that leads up to him becoming Candyman, is because another brother told him about Candyman. There was no white man that came in doing anything. He's like an artist, and I guess the guy that runs the art deal is like a white dude, and the lady is like a white chick, and it's like, you know, they have little bickering fucking race talks and class talks, and it's so unnecessary. But it's just like, it was him, it was the gay brother initially that brought everything to end up coming to fruition. Personally, I thought it was lazy. It was absolutely ridiculous. You could have made it more race worthy, about like some white dude or some white chick trying to figure out about it, and then, you know, everyone being like, this bitch is crazy. You could have kind of redid the same thing, or like an affair or something was going on, and she's like trying to get him to understand that it was all real, and then the wife thinks he's cheating, and then like some weird shit's going on. Like, it could easily have went down a different path that could have made sense, instead of the gay brother just being like, y'all don't know about Candyman, y'all don't know. And then at the end, like, I understand that. Remember, everyone that says Candyman 5 times, again, if you haven't seen the movie, this is gonna suck, but if you have seen the movie, spoiler alert, you know, because this shit was dumb, but every time you say Candyman 5 times, Candyman kills you. So at the end of the movie, right, after everybody died while saying Candyman, and I'm gonna say the white chick, the art dealer white chick, like, her death was so stupid, getting smashed against the window, like, oh god, it was so bad. The CGI was so bad. But at the end, when his girl, like, the cops come in and they shoot somebody, they don't really show who they shoot. They could have shot the black dude from the laundromat, or they could have shot her man, because he has a hook in his hand, so of course they're like, he's got a weapon. But the cop's like, oh, you know, do you want us to say that, you know, he was trying to hurt you, and, you know, you were innocent, or do you want us to say you were crazy and you stabbed him? What's the story gonna be? And then she's like, I'll tell you if you like, let me look in the mirror. And then they look, you know, if they fucking, all right. And she's like, I'll do anything. It's all like sensual and shit. Turns the mirror to her. She says Candyman 5 times, all slow, instead of the fucker like turn the mirror away and being like, bitch, what you doing? He lets her finish just saying Candyman. He you know, then Candyman comes up to life. Her boyfriend finally becomes Candyman, but instead of killing her, because he was, I guess, in love with her, because that's what always happens, Candyman don't kill, I guess, the people that are in love, that he's in love with, he lets her live and just says, tell everybody. Like, I mean, they don't really pull it home that he's killing only white folk, but, you know, he does kill all those girls in the bathroom, and he does kill all the cops, even though none of them said Candyman. He just kills them all. And he does kill that one black kid and his homies, and then the black kid's homies, and then the black kid like looks up and actually sees Candyman. So it's like they're not really pushing the raceness home, you know. But like, I don't know, it just makes me laugh that Jordan Peele, I don't know where, maybe he thought it was gonna be funny, because there are some funny moments in it, and you're like, that wasn't supposed to be funny, but I guess it's kind of funny. Like when he gets his claw shoved into him, and then he has that one tear, and you're like, bro, you wanted this, like, this is your fault. You wanted to become Candyman, and now you're the new Candyman, so fucking own it, I guess, you know. But in the original Candyman, dude, they had the bees and shit. There wasn't as much CGI. There was a lot more natural shit going on. Tony Todd had to put like bees in his mouth and shit. That motherfucker got paid an additional, look it up, $1,000 per bee sting he got. That motherfucker made like an extra 20 grand on just bee stings alone. And the girl that plays Helen, what's her name? I forget her name, but that chick, the one that plays Helen in the original movie, she was allergic to bees, and she was in these scenes with bees. Now it's like, oh, you're allergic, it's okay, we'll just have this CGI bee come at you and sting you, and your hand's gonna slowly get fucked up through the whole movie, and you ain't never gonna go to the doctor or say like, hey guys, what the fuck is wrong with his hand? Like, his hand is literally fucked up, but none of y'all care. Like, I guess it's just this motherfucker got a zombie hand from getting bit by a bee. Most people, their faces blow up, or their bodies blow up, parts of their bodies blow up, and it's like a bad thing. It's not like, oh, you'll be fine. But yeah, so I don't know, you know, and then the fact that the Tony Todd did want his own, like he was the one that came up with the whole backstory and everything, so maybe this was always supposed to be like a woke story. The guy that directed the original one was a British white dude, so I can't really say that it was really supposed to be woke, but hey, look where the BBC's at, so maybe this was supposed to come all along. But for the most part, he did come up with how Candyman was, so for him to be obviously reprising the role, maybe this was always supposed to be it. The chosen one to be the new Candyman. I feel like I've seen the second Candyman, because there's a second and third one from like back in the day, like late 90s, early 2000s, but I don't think if I've seen them, I don't fucking remember them because they weren't probably worth remembering. I'll have to rewatch them, but it doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, so for the most part, it wasn't good. I did not like this new Candyman, and I'm disappointed in Jordan Peele's direction and where he's going with these next couple horror movies or whatever that he's got coming out. I know that he's got that new Nope coming out. You know, that was just the picture, Nope. And even the chick says that scene. She opens the door and she's like, Nope, like I'm not gonna go down there. And it's like, really, girl? Like, all right. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video quick and discuss this because, you know, it's just, I didn't like it. And the fact that they discredit the original movie within the first like 5-10 minutes of this movie was just ridiculous. Like, it's just like you can't diss the original in the beginning scene of your movie. You just can't. But anyway, this has been the Craig Lawrence Experience. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts were on the new Candyman, or if you're ready for the sequel to this sequel, because it's not a reboot, it's a sequel. You know, which made it even weirder because every time Candyman showed up, he wasn't even Tony Todd. He was some random ass other Candyman, you know. But yeah, so this is supposed to be just some random ass dude that just kidnaps kids with razor bladed candies. That's not the actual Candyman, just like the spirit of. Anyway, or it was, you know, it was the young Morpheus Candyman. But anyway. It's getting hot, so we're gonna get into the AC. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this has been the Craig Lawrence Experience. Vegas was great. A quick shout out to Chrissy Marr. Your stand-up was fantastic last night in Vegas, and another shout out to Nerderotic. You're the man. Meeting you out there, it was awesome. And yeah, thank you for watching, and you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Peace.
Oh, the deception! The betrayal, man. You deceived me.
Calm down.
I'm not going to judge your journey. It is your fantasy.
Don't say that.